Hello, I'm Helen Pacheco. I'm your host for Hidden Treasures of Santa Fe. Today we're filming in the beautiful residence of the Shriners. Harriet and Carl are prominent community members, connoisseurs of art collectors, and they were so instrumental in the creation of Chispa in 2017. We're going to talk to the Shriners today, and we're going to talk to some of the artists, Baca, Arlene, Sena, and Rita Padilla Haufmann. Thank you. We've got to put that Padilla in there. And of course, this is Harriet Shriner and Carl Shriner. Thank you for welcoming us into your home. This is beautiful. It's a perfect backdrop for all of their work. We'll be right back so we can learn more about Chispa. Hi, welcome back. We're here to learn more about Chispa, and I'm here with Harriet Shriner. Harriet, thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, you're welcome.
Tell us how it all started. Why Chispa? That's such a great word. Spark.
Well, last year, summer, a group of collectors were getting together. We were actually at Spanish Market, and we got together and we said, wouldn't it be wonderful to have a show for our very favorite artists who all happen to be award-winning artists?
Oh, so they're all award-winning?
They all are award-winning. They've won major awards, such as the Governor's Award of Excellence in the Arts, the Mayor's Award of Excellence in the Arts, all sorts of other awards.
Fabulous.
So that's kind of how it started. So we got together and we selected artists to be in a very small, exclusive show. The only criteria was they had to be award-winning artists and they had to be living in New Mexico.
Ah.
So we had our first show last year. It was unbelievably fantastic. We had it at La Fonda Hotel in the La Terraza room.
Which is fantastic.
Which is fantastic in itself. And we had 11 artists. It was a huge success. We had over 500 people attend this small show, and actually 3 artists sold out during the show.
Excellent.
So it was really wonderful. And so that's how it got started, and we said it was such a great experience and such a great show last year, we would do it again this year.
Perfect. So this is the second year?
Yes.
And it's always this time of year near the holidays?
Yes. And last year it was the exact same weekend.
Good.
And it happened to be, we hopefully will have a beautiful weekend in Santa Fe because the room is so beautiful where we have the show, and it just adds to it. We've made a few changes this year.
Oh, talk to us about that.
Okay, we have, instead of 11 artists, we have 15.
Now, let me interrupt you for a minute. When you say artists, do they have to stick to a certain criteria or a certain parameters like they do in Spanish Market or Indian Market, or are they free to do whatever they want?
That's one of the things that we wanted to do for these artists. We wanted them to be free to do whatever they want.
Oh, fabulous.
For example, last year, Ralph Sena, who's a jeweler,
Sure.
said, can I bring my paintings? And we said, absolutely. So he brought his paintings to the show.
Wow.
So we saw a different side of him. In fact, I have some of his bracelets on, so you can see what kind of work he does.
He does
He's
beautiful
fabulous.
work.
And
Doesn't
he
that
will
have
be
a
there.
piece of gold in there somewhere?
There's a piece of gold right here.
I thought I spotted that.
We also, this year, we've added 4 Native American artists. Last year they were all
Ah.
Hispanic. We have 4 Native Americans, and we have 15 artists. The other thing is last year we had one author come, and they signed books for 2 hours, and it was really successful. So this year we have four authors who will be signing their books during the show, for the whole show.
Now, what time does this start?
It starts at 10 o'clock on December 9th. It's one day only. We're going to have great merchandise there. A lot of the artists have been sending us pictures of what they're making for the show,
how
and it's so exciting. But it will go from 10 to 4 in the La Terraza room at the La Fonda Hotel.
Will there be food or refreshments or
Well, you can always go in the bar.
Sure. Go downstairs and get your margarita.
Get some margaritas. But we will have music. We're going to have live music all day, 3 different groups. Some really exciting groups that we're having this year, and I think you'll be really pleased when you see
I'm so
what's
excited.
happening. Oh, it's great. Yeah, it will be really great.
It's so festive. Everybody's buying Christmas presents. And let me tell you something, what I think is so fabulous is that you have a variety. So you
Yes.
don't have to go look for your straw applique. You don't have to go look for your jewelry. It's all in one room and you can pick and choose.
It's a small room, but a small, really select, wonderful group of artists. In fact, I have a couple pieces right here that I can show you of artists that aren't here today but are represented in our collection. This is by Marie Romero Cash, and this is 100 Madonnas, all hand carved, all individually done. I'm not saying she'll have this, something like this there, but she will have work that's similar. And this is another piece that she did. This is Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo. So she does very interesting.
So we get an idea of what work she does.
Exactly.
And they're all hand painted, correct?
These are all hand painted.
No two alike?
Nope. She's a well-known Santero. She did the Stations of the Cross in the Basilica.
Right.
Very noted artist. This pot was done by Robert Tenario. He's a Native American from Santo Domingo Pueblo, and this is one of his train pots. Aww. And this is something that's kind of his iconic piece that he's known for. And when you buy one from him, he tells you who all the people are in the pot.
So it's got a little story.
Yes. Huh? And then we have two additional jewelers besides Lawrence Baca. We have Ralph Sena, who I mentioned, and then we also have Maria Zamora, who's a Native American from Taos, and she did actually these two pieces, and she did
beautiful.
my ring. So
sterling silver.
Yes. So we have a really nice variety of artists, and you'll see in a little bit when you talk to some of the artists that we have here today, weaving, jewelry, paintings, all kinds of things.
Oh, I love the variety. That's fabulous. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we need to talk to a few of our artists.
I think so.
We'll be right back. We want to talk to our artists. Here we are with Arlene Cisneros Sena, who is one of the artists for Chispa again this year. Thank you, Arlene, for being here. And
Glad to be here.
Look at this fabulous piece that you have in this home. Tell us a little bit about your work. What is your forte?
Well, I do retablos. I do Spanish colonial art or New Mexican devotional art. I use all of the traditional techniques that were used in colonial times. I make my own pigments, my own gesso, varnish, and I accent each piece in 23-karat gold leaf. So, natural pigments. This is cochineal, which is a bug. It's a parasite.
It's a beetle, I think, isn't it?
It's a beetle. It's picked off of cactus, and
so you do a little hunting.
it's a little, yes. That's exactly. Actually, no, I don't hunt for it. Fortunately, there are weaver supply stores that you can purchase these pigments.
Nice.
And so I get indigo, cochineal, and a couple of the others, the blue, I'm not going to remember the name. And so weaver supply stores.
Oh,
yes.
Great.
Cochineal, if you mash it, you boil it, it smells horrible.
Does it?
But look at the color it makes. And then you add lime juice and you get a purple. So,
oh my gosh, you've mastered this.
I'm a
yeah,
chemist.
you are a chemist.
The fact is I love what I do. It's what I was meant to do. I've been a painter, I've been an artist all my life, and when I found Santos, I knew it was where I needed to be.
Oh, and Arlene, do you look in the mirror when you paint? Because she has your eyes.
I don't know about that,
Look
but
that is. You have a beautiful piece, Harriet.
I love the image. I
Thank
think
you.
it's interesting for you to tell them who this person is.
Oh, that's a good one. This is Kateri Tekakwitha. And Kateri is Algonquin, a Mohican, young.
Was she a saint?
She was just canonized last year in October.
Oh.
She's a newly canonized saint. She's patron of the environment, of young people who are sick. She had smallpox. I think that was what the illness that was going through her tribe, and she suffered quite a bit. But she is very well known for her patronage of the environment and ecology.
And thus all the trees and the river, and
Well,
it's so fitting.
I was doing this probably around the time that she was canonized. It was October, it was fall, and that's where I decided to do the fall images and the fall colors. Of course, I had to throw some of New Mexico in, so the jewelry and the corn, the blue corn, and her beaded moccasins are very much New Mexican, as is, in my view, the landscape. But I wanted her to be part of us and be who she is.
And I love the halo. That's 23 karat gold.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Isn't that
Yes.
stunning?
Thank you.
Love your color combination.
Thank
The
you.
colors are magnificent.
They're magnificent. And who carves all the wood for you? Do you have
Uh,
somebody?
no, well, okay, this board, because it's larger, I do have someone, Robert Montoya, who will, what he calls laminates the wood, because it's hard to find wood this wide anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I cut my own wood and carve my own pieces, because
Boy, you are busy.
when no one's around, like my husband, Richard, you know, I've
You
got
gotta
to
do
do it. I've got to get it done. And so I learned how, and I actually don't carve a whole lot anymore, but I love doing some of the woodworking.
It's stunning. It is
Thank you.
absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
There
I'm
are no
glad
words.
that it's in a magnificent home
Oh,
and a
Harriet.
wonderful collection. It's just a tremendous honor to be here.
Well, thank you. It was a thrill to purchase this,
Wow.
because generally when I've seen your work, I'm the last person to get there and everything is sold.
Oh,
And I
that's-
saw this and it just drew me
Spoke to
to it.
you.
It just beautiful. And then my
That's
husband
nice.
came over and said, there's a piece here that I'd really like to get. And I said, what is it? And he says, he pointed to this piece by Arlene, and I said, do it.
Ah, that's
Thank
what
you.
I wanted. That worked out.
Thank you. Well, that
So-
means a lot. It just means so much. I just enjoy what I do and love
It's
that
obvious.
folks appreciate it as well.
Will you have pieces this large in Chispa?
I will have one.
One large one, so
Yes.
get there early.
and hopefully we'll be coming up with an inventory soon. You know, I'm still working. Once I leave here, I'm going to be hitting it hard again.
Good. Oh,
Well,
we look forward.
You make a good point. It's good to get there. It's a short show, it's one day,
It's
it's
one
only
day.
from 10 to 4. But get there at 10 o'clock, because that's when you're gonna see everything that these artists have brought,
And
so.
will you leave them up the whole day so we can kind of see them even if they're sold?
Yes, people are very nice to leave them with
Oh,
me.
good.
If they've been purchased, they usually are polite about leaving it there.
So they can
And
look
I'm-
at your work and say, oh, I
I
want
can mark
one.
it sold, which is always good, and yeah, so I have a
Perfect.
display.
Well, we're so thrilled that you decided to be in Chispa for the second year.
Oh, it's such an
great.
honor. Yeah, it's a great bunch to be part of. You know, we're still a family.
It's such
It's
a
a-
great idea.
And
I
it's a
love
fun
the whole
show.
concept.
The artists,
is,
because it's
yeah.
small, we all have become friends, and
We all love each other.
it's
Yes.
just, it's wonderful.
Aw.
It's a lovely day and a lovely place.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
it's
everybody's
exciting.
pulling for each other. Oh, I love that.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Arlene, for being in this conversation
Thank
with
you.
us, and we look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Can't wait.
Doors open, open.
10 o'clock.
We'll be
Can't wait.
right back with our next artist. We're back again talking about Chispa 2001-8 with Harriet Schreiner and our very valuable artist. This is Rita Padilla Haufmann, a very, very amazing weaver. Rita, I love your work. Tell
Thank
us
you.
all about
Thank
it.
you.
We have two pieces that we brought today.
I have two. This weaving has been dyed. The blue has been dyed with indigo, which is a plant, and that's what I do. I work in what I'm considering the tradition. So I weave with churro fleece. So I spin the fleece, I dye the fleece, I make my own dyes, and then I weave in patterns that are inspired by old Rio Grande textiles. I don't repeat them, but I am inspired by them.
This is a beautiful
And in this piece, for example, I have a logo or my signature I put on every single weaving, and it's a stocking. And I do that because I have several great-great-great-great-grandmothers who were stocking knitters. And they were identified on an early Spanish colonial census as stocking knitters, which is very unusual. The men were all identified. They were sheep herders or ranchers or all sorts of things. The women were just women with
And
their
didn't
names.
get any recognition.
None at all. These women, there were 7 women in Tasuki who were stocking knitters. And at the same time, there are documents that show hundreds of pairs of stockings that went down the Camino Real to Mexico City as trade goods. So when I start a piece, I light a candle, I say a prayer, I remember them, they are named, I'm related to about 4 of them directly, and then I do this little stocking. And if I don't, the piece doesn't turn out well.
Oh, I love that ritual.
Yes.
Now, is every logo red, or does that
No.
depend on the composition?
It depends on the yarn and the composition. Here's one in purple or lilac, and I use the yarn that I'm going to use in the piece itself.
So it all ties right in.
It all ties in.
Now, what is the purple dye?
The purple dye is logwood, and in colonial census they would import, it was called Palo de Campeche.
Campeche.
Campeche, which
What
is a
is
city
Campeche?
in Mexico.
Oh,
and
palo
so,
being the wood.
Right, palo's the wood, Campeche was the city, and these were trees that thrived there. So they would cut them, and then they would import these chunks of wood, and they would shave them. So when I buy them, I buy shavings of wood chips.
And it has a purple tinge?
And
or
this,
a lavender tinge?
no,
Oh.
they look like regular wood. Like wood, but you have to soak them, and then you boil them, you make a tea out of them, and then you can get all sorts of colors. This background is purple. You can see it here better.
Right. There's a better.
That's the first dye pot, when the dye is the strongest. The next day, I do it again, and I
Oh,
get
and
this
that's how you get that
lighter
different
color.
value, yes.
And if I have more, that the pot looks like there's more color, I could probably get a lighter dye. So I use the dyes that have been identified in use in colonial times, and those would have been indigo, which is this.
This one is gorgeous. They're both
It's not
beautiful.
only beautiful, but it feels good.
It's
so
the churro.
nice.
It's the
It's a
churro. Churro wool from the
The
sheep.
fringe is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
gosh, tell us how you do the fringe.
The fringe is simply tying. I think that you need something a little more elegant than just a knot. And so it makes a kind of a lace.
Totally.
And some of the early traditional weavings had very elaborate lace edgings. So this is my tribute to them. And so it, I think, finishes,
I love the story.
finishes
All
the
of a sudden,
piece
it feels like it came
a
to
little bit
life.
better than just a knot.
Rita,
So,
these are
yeah.
gorgeous.
Now, Rita, when you come to Chispa, I understand you're going to have some scarves.
Yes, I will have a
Tell
few
us about the
scarves.
scarves. I saw a couple pictures on
The
Instagram.
scarves are not hand spun, and they're not from churro. They're commercial yarn. It's a merino, which is the finest yarn there is.
it's so soft.
And they're in a blue, I love blue, a little bit of green, and then a very light blue. And they're long enough to be used as a winding it around your head a couple of times.
Will it have this type of fringe on it?
I don't think I did that on those.
This is a spectacular piece. Let me
Yeah.
look at that other one. So how long have you been doing this? Your
Well, I didn't
ancestors
know
did
I
it?
had been doing it as long as I had. I come to this from teaching. And when I retired from teaching, I started doing this. So I look back at my records, and it's about 20 years that I have been doing this.
What did you teach?
I
Was it
taught
in the
English.
arts? Oh, English. Okay.
I taught English. And on this piece, for example, this is very simple, but very,
It's very beautiful.
this is called,
I like the middle.
this business is called shuttle work. It's a way of giving a piece depth, because basically you've got a flat surface. But if you do this shuttle work, then it gives it a kind of depth and movement.
It's not a direct straight line. Do you see how it's got the little nibs?
And then these are very traditional. Every weaving tradition in the world does things like this, because you're creating the design based on moving the yarn one warp yarn at a time. so then you can
And that's what
create
you
this.
get.
This is called palmas, from the palm of your hand.
That makes
And
sense.
so then you have, generally, people do one color, but I don't like to do what's been done. So I added different colors. And if you look at this piece, it's placed here, here, and the next one you would predict would be in the middle.
So it
that the
goes
pattern goes
into-
this way and then out this way.
Also, from a distance, you
there's
kind
a
of get
pattern
that.
within the pattern.
Oh, and how do people normally hang these? Are these hard to hang? once you-
Most people would hang them rather than put them on the floor, but you could. And
I would
I
feel
would say people put, you can use a Velcro strip that's attached to the wall, and then a piece of wood with Velcro, and then this is attached to the Velcro strip.
So people can custom order from you if they
They
come to the
can.
show and
They
possibly
can.
certain things sell out?
They
They'll
can.
look at your work and know that they
Yeah.
can order something from you, right?
Yes. They would be commercially available, but they are dyed with natural dyes.
This is stunning. We all look forward to seeing your work
Well,
at
thank you.
Chispa this
Chispa,
weekend.
This Sunday.
This
December
Sunday,
9th, 10
yes,
o'clock.
Thank
at La
you.
Fonda.
At La Fonda, 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock, La Fonda La Terraza. We'll be back with one more artist. Thank you, Rita.
Thank you.
We're back again with one more fabulous artist for Chispa 2018. This is Lawrence Baca,
Hello.
a very well-known jeweler. Lawrence, we've got a model today for you. She's wearing
She's all
all
decked
the
out.
beauty
I'm
things.
excited. I've never been a model before.
Well, you're doing a good job.
You want to tell us about all the beautiful pieces she's wearing?
yeah,
This
certainly.
heart is so iconic of yours. isn't it?
Those are fun. It's actually done with car paint. I have a good friend that is a body man, and he's a great painter and a really good artist. And so this one probably has lace on it, or no, actually this just has a black border and a dark red center. And then, I let him do whatever he wants. He uses lace on some of the pieces, and so they're all a little different, you know.
Does he put the lace on the heart or around the edges?
Both. He actually uses the lace, and then he'll spray it as a stencil, and so you actually see the lace itself with a background of gold. And I'm working on a piece for Chispa that will be black lace with a gold background.
Oh, that's
Oh,
beautiful.
Yeah, and then
On
it has
silver? Will it have silver?
Yeah, it'll have silver, and actually it has a really cool stone. It's an Australian opal, and and a starburst around that. So
Ooh, we'll get to see that soon.
yeah, and so
Get
10
there
o'clock. We've got to get
soon.
there at 10, December 9th.
That's right. Be the first one in the door because they're going to go fast.
Yeah.
So
And-
that's your gorgeous.
And by the way, all the jewelry I'm wearing is mine. This is not staged. Lawrence did not loan this to us.
no.
She's not making it up.
I'm
Look
making
at
this
all
up.
these gorgeous pieces.
Yes.
Okay, let's start with this one. Is that 14 karat and silver?
That is sterling silver, and my wife Maria actually came up with this idea, and she came up with it 25 years ago. You know, so it started off as an accessory to my pieces, to my pendants, and to earrings, or just something that would add a little more versatility. And so she started these, and she had this great idea. I was making Navajo bench beads, which you have to cut and dome and drill and solder, and
Every single bead.
not these ones, but
Oh.
I was making those, and it was just too labor intensive. So Maria came up with this idea of buying the ready-made bead, still a process, oxidizing it, and then polishing the centers out. So they've become half of our business at
And
this
you know,
point.
you are so well known for that, Lawrence. People call them the
Baca
Baca
beads.
beads.
Right.
You have trademark.
Yeah, Packard's did that for us.
Good.
We showed at Packard's for 25 years, and it was the best place in town to show at. We really miss them. And there was Richard Cannon, I think, that dubbed them Baca beads.
They are known
and
as
now
the
they're
Baca
Navajo
beads.
pearls,
Baca
and
beads.
we have a lot of people that are
Now, are you
doing them.
showing somewhere else now that you mentioned this?
Yeah,
Are you?
yeah, I'm showing at Sorrel Sky.
Okay.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we have to be up in Durango on Friday.
Oh, you
So
are so
we're-
busy
yeah,
right now. You're going to
yeah.
be polishing in the car.
I hope not. But yeah, so they have a gallery in Durango and one in Santa Fe on Palace Avenue.
Perfect. And then Chispa this weekend. Okay, and this one looks like it's jade
You got it. That's jade.
with the silver.
That's jade, and that's onyx. And then you've
This
got
is
just
all
These are all
sterling.
silver.
yeah, that's 10 millimeter. That's my favorite size, actually.
That's a
I like
beautiful.
that size too.
I
Yeah.
love the combination.
I actually have more. I try
Wear
not
'em
to
You
to
need a
here.
longer
try
arm.
not to be too ostentatious.
Oh, they're so beautiful. And this, look how it all just
Yes,
blends.
and this is a ring that you did a few years ago.
That's right. I don't do a lot of rings, but
Is that 14
that's
karat on top?
That's 22.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
22 karat, yeah. Yeah. And then your earrings are actually rolling mill texture. They're little flowers. And you anneal the metal so it's soft and you quench it. And then you roll it through a mill and it'll take just any imprint at all. It's pretty
And
amazing.
what imprint did you have? Was that lace or something? On
That
It's
was
a flower.
It was
yeah.
a fabric.
It was a fabric. It was lace, and then I kind of stamped the flower in. So
Oh,
with,
you
with
have
stamps.
so much fun in your workshop.
I do. I love it.
That it shows.
He has a very fascinating workshop too.
Yeah.
It's a
an-
real small space, but he gets so many beautiful things out of that workshop. It's just amazing.
So creative.
It's at a great place. It's in downtown, and
Oh, it's
Wha-
not at your home.
no.
You go somewhere. That's
yeah,
kind of good. You get away
It
from your
is.
environment.
We did that on purpose. I worked out of the house for a long time, but it's nicer just to have a place to go.
Sure.
And it's an old house. The woman raised 8 kids in it. A little house, so it has a really good feel. It has great energy,
It does. It
Nice.
really
and
you
does.
location is awesome.
Room space. Huh?
Yeah.
So you're going to
Wow.
have a lot of one-of-a-kind pieces then at Chispa
Yeah. I'm working on them now.
as we speak.
As we speak, they're in the acid, a couple of them. But yeah, I should have some really neat one-of-a-kind pieces.
Oh, we're so anxious to see
Yeah.
your work. You're so popular.
And then a lot of beads, of course. Maria and Ellen, my daughter, she helps us with our bead line also. So we should have a good inventory.
We are
Good.
so looking forward to it.
Yeah,
oh my
I am
gosh,
too.
this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, we have had so much fun in your beautiful residence.
Thanks, Harriet.
What a perfect backdrop for all of these. This is just a sampling. These are just 3 of the magnificent artists that you're going to find at Chispa this weekend. December the 9th at 10 o'clock in the morning. Get there early in the La Terraza room in the historic La Fonda downtown. It is like a boutique, very, very special art show with all the magnificent artists. I am so looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
I'm honored to be part of it.
Oh, you have to.
Surrounded with
We're
some
happy
really.
you're part of it.
You're going to
so
make it
excited.
happen.
Right.
Yes. Is there anything you want to leave us with, Harriet, before
I
we...
would. I would love everyone to join us this Sunday, December 9th at La Fonda for this wonderful art show. We have 15 unbelievably fantastic artists. You only saw 3,
Exactly.
as Helen said, but the rest of them are just as exciting as the 3 that you've met today. This has really been a labor of love. This show actually benefits the artists. Most of the shows benefit the artists and an organization, but this show really benefits these very special, all award-winning artists. And then we'll have 4 authors who will be signing their books. And we're going to have music all day, live music, local people, and I think you're going to have a really special time. Very festive. It's a good time to think about holiday shopping. Sunday, December 9th. Chispa, it's going to be a spark of a show. So thank you so much for doing this.
Did you
You
want to
bet.
say something?
I believe Las Posadas is right after.
Right afterwards.
So
That's right.
someone
Around 5
could,
o'clock, right.
yeah, it'd be
'Cause
a
our
great thing
shows-
to go downtown. And,
The show's from 10 to 4. You can kind of relax a little bit and then go to La Posadas.
Exactly.
How festive. What a great
Yeah.
weekend. I hope
Yeah.
the weather holds out for us. If not, it's still the best place to be and the best artists ever. Thank you so much for listening to Hidden Treasures of Santa Fe. These are definitely treasures. And we see you next time.